So when I say manage the outcome, give them the goal. Give them the end result. We need to save $10,000 this quarter, whatever it is. Let them find it, because the goal is to save the money. I have a lot of things I am responsible for. So managing how people think is not something that I'm willing to invest my time in. But what I'm willing to invest my time in is helping them find creative ways to get to my end result.
Welcome to the Black Hustle Podcast, the podcast for the urban Black entrepreneur. In this podcast, we highlight the real life highs and the lows of the entrepreneurship journey through the stories of your everyday Black entrepreneur. No matter if you're starting or already in the growth or building stage, we have a story for you. Join us now as we jump into another profile in Black entrepreneurship. Hello, everybody. Richard Byrd here, the Black Hustle Podcast. We are so glad and so ecstatic to have you here. Let me tell you, I told you before that I'm probably going to say this on every podcast, but this person here is my favorite. This person here is my favorite. This my dog. This my girl. This my homie. This my hangout partner. This is the one and only DeShannon Dixon. Y'all give it up. Give it up for DeShannon Dixon.
Hey guys.
So DeShannon, I listen. First of all, I'm honored that you took time out of your schedule to come hang out here with us on the podcast. I want to give your whole resume, but I don't think I can do it justice. So tell the people, the quick and the dirty, who you is, what you do, how you do it, and what makes you famous.
Hey, everybody. Listen, as he said, my name is DeShannon Dixon, and I'm born of PK times 2. Let's get that out the way. Mama and daddy ministers. But my career, I think, is just as equally as important. I started very humbly at the front desk, and within 10 years, I landed behind a CEO desk. So not only do I do that, I'm a healthcare executive. I'm a leadership success coach. What is that? I coach executives. I'm a career coach, people trying to navigate their way. I'm a life coach, helping people get it together. I'm a motivational speaker. I do big keynote events at large organizations to try to move them forward. But I'm also a published author, and I'm a minister too. So that's just some of what I do. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me.
Listen. So let's just start. I don't want to say let's start at the beginning. Let's start at the fact that you said in your opening that you started at the front desk. Kind of walk us through that change, because I know we have people here who have been, they're looking at where they are and where they want to go, but they don't know how to make that step. What would you say to the person that has potential? Let's start there.
Well, for one, you can't have potential and no one notice it. So you got to get out of your own way. And 2, you got to be okay with doing the grunt work. I knew I could do the job that other people were doing, but I had to get noticed. And how do you get noticed? It's not just showing up every day, because everybody's doing that. It's doing those jobs and learning them well that nobody wants to do and making them look easy. When they give you tasks that they know is grunt work, do them with a smile, but do them the best you can. I want it to be better than good, because good is just average. I set out to be great.
Better than good. That is one of your mantras.
Yes.
Better than good. Come on, DeShannon. Talk to me about what is better than good.
Well, that is what I live by, because when people ask you, how are you doing? Or I'm good. Everybody's good. But there is a place beyond good, because good is just average. And when we're looking at grades, C is average. Who wants to be a C? I know I don't want to be C average. So there is a place beyond good that I try to keep in and keep myself in. And when I'm coaching people, I get them to see, if you're good, you're just average. If you a B, you just a little bit above average.
So
I'm trying to be always beyond good.
How do you bring your A game to everything that you do?
Well, for one, you got to know that most of the time we're operating at like a 60% capacity. We're mainly doing just good enough to get by. We're doing good enough to stay under the radar just so we don't get fired. I mean, and that's in life, in relationships, in jobs, whatever. We're just under the radar. So a lot of us haven't even tapped into our potential because that requires work. That requires not being average and lazy. That requires understanding that to get what I want, I've got to do something different. And when you can recognize different, that's when it's good. So when you're looking at good, average, what's average, everybody around you? So what can you do to separate yourself? And one of the easiest things you can do is take what nobody else wants to do and do that.
So as a CEO, let's flip this on the other side. As a CEO, what are you looking for inside?
Great. Superstars.
What does great look like, though?
Because I can teach anybody anything. I can teach you, you can be green as can be. And I can teach you what I know, how to run a business, how to make people millions of dollars, I can teach that. But what I call a superstar is somebody that shows up consistently every single time, and that's coachable. You don't know more than me. You just got here. You will never be greater than your teacher. That's scripture. You know why? Because I only got a little bit of time to teach you what I already know. I'm just giving you the highlights. So can you remain coachable? But do you want it? Are you happy being hourly wage? Stay there. But I'm looking for people that want to do beyond average, beyond good. Yeah. And it's something you can't teach, but I'm looking for a superstar.
We have this conversation often. We are all mentoring. You know, both of us, we mentor people. And one of the hardest things to come across when you're mentoring someone is that I can't want it more than you want it. I can't push you further than you want to go. I need you to tell me, is this something that you really want, or are you faking and wasting my time? Don't show up to try to keep me happy. I need you to show up to keep you happy. How have you?
See, what happens for me is I know within the first 2 or 3 days, are you wanting the glamour of me or you wanting the grit of me?
Go ahead.
That's two different DeShannons.
Talk about the glory of you, and then we're gonna talk about the grit of you.
Okay, so everybody see on TV, they want to sit at my desk, look in my office, and they want the glamour of me. They don't want to start at the front desk. But in order for me to run a successful medical practice, I got to know how it starts. So even to this day, I go and answer the phone. I go and check in somebody, check out somebody, because it's a circle and a cycle. But what they want to do is hang out in my office and never want to answer the front desk because they feel like that's beneath them. I literally just fired some college graduates because they thought they knew more than me. Sweetheart, you finna answer this phone or you not going to do nothing.
So
they chose to do nothing, and I helped them.
Talk to me real quick now. What is the grit? What is the grit of DeShannon?
The grit is learning the bottom. Understanding when you're planting something, in order for flowers to grow, it's got to be dark places. It's got to get dirty. It's got to be feeling like you're drowning because somebody's pouring water over you over and over until you catch root. I'm teaching you all the things that's feeling overwhelming, but it'll all make sense if you hang on to it. I need somebody to understand it starts at the bottom before it ever shows the top. But we want to see the flowers after they bloom, but don't understand they was buried under something for a long time. And that's what the starting at the bottom is. Starting at the front desk is, that's the hardest job in the place. It's the one with the most things going on. It's the most responsibility, but it's the least paying. But if you can just do that and learn everything else, it'll make the rest of it easy because you know how it started. Nobody wants to learn that grit part. They just want to sit behind my desk. Sweetheart, you ain't earned this desk.
One of the hardest things for me, I shouldn't say hardest, one of the wake up calls was understanding the way that I was trained to build business was to build it vertically.
Yeah.
Start quick, get to the money, keep going. But that really created shallow foundations. And so if the wind blew, the whole business could collapse because there was no foundation. It wasn't until I started trying to build horizontal businesses, which then required sometimes 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 years of foundational work to build infrastructure so that you can then wrap all that glory stuff around that. What do you say to the person who is in the dirt right now and can't see or don't know that light is coming? Like, how do you have that conversation?
Well, even if you're in the dirt, and let's just keep with the flower analogy, and it grows, and it gets chopped down, do you not realize because you've got a foundation, it'll come back up? See, but when you build the opposite way, when the wind blows, it's just gone because it's not rooted in nothing. So I might start a lot of businesses and some of them work, some of them may not, but the foundation is still there. So I can just reinvent myself over and over and over again because I'm rooted and grounded in something that's solid.
Listen. Okay. See, it's easy for me to release the office and change the decor and change the business. I don't have to change the building. The foundation and the building are all set. Woo, if we were in church, that would have been one of those moments where we threw a tambourine at the preacher. Yeah. That would have been a part where we're just like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, so we're at the front desk. We've moved to the CEO position. What is the biggest change? And I ask this question because it is something I know that my listeners are dealing with. I know that I have to have this conversation with myself often. What is that major change from being from the front desk or the front office or the front lines into being the CEO? What is that mindset shift? What is that piece?
Well, see, for one, you were already a CEO at the front. You the CEO of the front desk. And so when I'm the CEO of the front desk, I'm running that. And then when I'm the CEO of the billing office, I'm running that. And now when I become the CEO, I'm just running small departments of what I've already ran. But see, a lot of times we get positions that's really forward thinking and able to forecast. But see, you making decisions and not knowing how it's going to affect the people below you. And that's where you make a mess. And that's when you have to keep starting over because you really don't know your company like you thought you did. If you're the brand new CEO, let me tell you what you need to do. You need to be talking to your hourly workers. You need to be coming out of that office, finding out what this company really can and cannot do. Because every change you make is going to affect somebody that does the job. You got to have the right people at the table when you're making decisions. I'm a great healthcare CEO because I can do every job in there. But I can't make a decision, do a new software, create opportunities when I don't know how it really is going to affect day-to-day operations. And that's where a lot of CEOs fail. You got the big idea, but can't execute.
And so the execution is not you as the CEO, even though it says executive. The execution is going to be on your direct reports and then people below you.
Yes. How
do you stay ahead of the curve? I once heard the CEO, Jeff Bezos, he says, I'm 5 to 6 years further. I'm in the future, and the people who report to me are in the future. We're not talking about what's happening today. We've already made that decision. How do you, as a CEO in a smaller company, how do you stay in front, but also be mindful of what's happening right now?
Well, a lot of times we don't understand what buy-in is. And I know that's a term that people like, oh my God, buy-in. But I use informed consent. It's another way of looking at that. So when I get them to consent to doing it, that means I got them on my side. I don't just forward think and expect somebody that's living day to day, paycheck to paycheck to be with me 4 or 5 years from now. But if they can see it, because I believe in it and I can show them where they fit in this puzzle 3 years, 4 years, 5 years from now, and they agree to it because I thought enough of them to ask them about it, that's informed consent. Because you don't usually buck a system that you agreed to. So that's buy-in for me. That's how I can say, you know what, next year we're going to do this. But like 4 or 5 years, can you see that? And if they say no, then I haven't done a good job of writing the vision and making it plain enough for them to see it. I'm still in the clouds while they stand down here on the ground.
And how do you navigate that? You know, the difference between what's happening in the clouds and what's happening on the ground. Because
I say this often, don't build me a clock. Tell me what time it is. So you can't build a clock with folks that just need the time. Your hourly workers just want to know what time it is. So building them a clock does not work. You have to know your audience and you have to understand what motivates them. So it might be money on a low level, because listen, $1 to me, listen, if somebody come to me and ask me for $1 raise, they're going to get it all day long, because that's just $8 a day. They'll be out of my face for 2 years off of $8 a day. But there's no point in me sharing a vision with somebody that can only see the V in vision.
Wow. Let's take a step back. So, people out there in Black Hustle Nation, we talk numbers, we talk the for real, forget all the fluff, if you will. This is the real stuff. A dollar raise is going to be $8 a day. Mm-hmm. If that's going to make or break them, we can make those kinds of decisions all day. Why are you spending 6 hours trying to decide whether or not you can afford $8 more in what you're doing? Like, talk more.
Well, most people happy with 50 cents. That ain't but $4 a day. I'll give you that all day.
So I know when we first started working together, you were taking on, I believe, a new position. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that you do immediately when you walk into a new position in order to maximize the bottom line, let's walk through just a couple of a couple of those steps.
Because I fire people.
Let's do the steps of what you go through as a CEO in order to maximize the bottom line.
Okay, so for me, and CEOs out there, C-suite folks, I mean, if you got a C in front of your name, not a pretend C, not a lowercase c, but a real C. So let's, because we're about to separate y'all right now, because this ain't going to apply to nobody else. It's not going to apply. So what I do is make myself free. When I say that, my salary will be free within the first 90 days of me being there. Once I make my salary free, I can ask them for any amount of money I want. So, two $50,000 employees is about going to make you free. 3, because most companies are overstaffed anyway. They got problem employees that they like, so they don't want to get rid of. They got their mama, sister. Listen, I done fired doctors' mamas. Now, she shouldn't be here. Whatever it takes for me to be free, that's the easiest way to do it, because that's one of the biggest things on your profit and loss is salary. Right there. You making $100,000, two full-time employees with benefits makes you free from that moment on. So now that you're free, say they started you low, 100. Well, guess what? You can ask for 20 because now they only adding $20,000 to their bottom line. They're not adding 100,000 that they thought they were adding. They're only adding 20. So then you go back to the table after you do something else. You renegotiate vendor contracts. Easy. Because they've been with the same companies for years. They feel like they loyal. No, I'm not loyal to you. I'm loyal to who giving me the better price. And that right there going to save me 14, 15%. Now I'm asking for what I've saved. Now, as you get to about 150, 180, now you're saying, let me just get a percentage of what of the profit on top of. Okay? Because now let me be clear. You know, y'all be happy with bonuses. No, I want a percent increase. Now you can float me a bonus so I can do a little bit of shopping, but don't fall for the carrot. You want that percent increase because that don't go away. Once you spend that bonus money, that's gone. So when you negotiating your contract too, don't get caught into the bonus because that's a one-time swoop. So roll that bonus into your salary in stair steps. So if I do this, add this. If I do that, add this. It's that same money, but it's going to be better for you to roll it into your salary than for them to cut you a check for $10,000 for signing on. They can keep that. But what I'm saying is I make myself free. Easiest way to do it is payroll. The next easiest way to do it is vendor contracts, and then start negotiating leases and things like that. If you are a good negotiator, if you don't, you need to be hiring me. That was I ain't even shameless plug because I'm good at that. So that you can get a better deal instead of these 5, 6, 10-year deals these people locked into. Find the loophole, get yourself out, do a 3-year lease. Then I'm telling you, you can ask people for whatever you want. Oh, I said a lot, didn't I?
Well, I think you hit some really salient points in understanding the numbers of your business, but also understanding why you're the CEO, and not just what you're saying is just not good for people who are CEOs of other people's companies, but people who are CEOs of their own company. Mm-hmm. They're going to be elephants in the room, and they're going to be those sacred elephants that nobody wants to touch, even yourself. But when you are the CEO, your job is to look at that profit and loss and manage the bottom line, manage your margins. Like that is, again, I'm a CEO. But I've battled that in myself because there's a part of me that always wants to help people, that always wants to make sure that I'm doing as much as I can for those who are working for me, but is doing as much as I can for the company. And then I flip, like when everyone leaves the office that day and I go into true CEO mode and I start looking at my numbers and I start erasing stuff, that duality is, I think, something that a lot of people, especially those who are running their own companies, are dealing with. I said, I think it was the conversation I was having with you one time at the beginning of the pandemic. Now is the time to fire people because there's enough help. There's enough places for them to get additional help, and you can help ease that transition rather than trying to bankrupt your company to hold on and make sure that people are okay. Since we're talking about firing people, I love how you fire people. So talk about that.
Okay, for one, I tend to wear black. Why do I wear black? Because I do not want somebody saying, oh, DeShannon, look at that blouse you got on. No, ma'am. You're not finna distract me. I'm finna have on something very solid, something plain, because I'm here to deliver the news. You've already fired yourself. I just deliver the news. Okay? So I only say, effective immediately, your position has been terminated. That is all I say. I have somebody on standby to collect their stuff, and I walk myself out of there. Because why do I do that? Why don't you give them an explanation? Because we already done talked about this before. So there is no explanation. And because if you keep talking, you can find yourself on the wrong side of the Department of Labor. And I've been audited many, many times, so I understand the rules. But I just give you one sentence. But I'm not going to have on nothing where we having a side conversation. I came to fire you.
And so you often say, I'm not firing you. When you're thinking about what you're doing, you're releasing them to, what's that statement you use? I'm releasing you to.
Well, I don't know, because I say a lot of stuff, Richard. But when I have a conversation about somebody that I'm going to fire, and they don't know I'm going to fire them yet, I ask them a couple of questions. Are you being great here? Have you been able to reach your potential here? Because we don't want to be the ones that you're not reaching your potential at. You deserve to be somewhere where you can reach your potential, and this ain't it. See, I actually get them to agree to be fired.
That is a phenomenal technique. But I think, for those who are listening who think this is harsh, it is the reality of business. And if you truly care,
in business, there's no feelings in business.
And if you truly care, about the people who are working for you, you have to help them move on to somewhere else that's not you. You can't be that selfish.
Listen, let me tell you this. I accept resignations every day, every single day, because you don't want to be here. I want to help you transition. I don't want you here one day longer than you want to be. I accept resignations every single day.
I'm going to have the company create a poster that says that right there. We'll have to share royalties or something, a royalty split. But I accept resignations listen, I accept resignations on the job, and I accept resignations in life. Baby, if you don't want to be around me or listen, I don't want to say listen to me, but you don't want to be around me and take good advice, you can go ahead and resign. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not having you around me.
But don't punk me and act like, if you threaten to resign, I'm going to want you back. No. So I tell people, be sure you want to resign, because I won't ever take you back.
In this new economy, we're listening and we're hearing all of these reports of the Great Resignation, and we're hearing these reports of how hard it is to keep employees. As a CEO and as a CEO coach, how are you managing this new era where employees believe they have the upper hand?
Well, I mean, okay, let me give you a real example. I am consulting with this practice right now that was virtual. They had 5 college-educated, graduated girls. They were all under the age of 25, though. They were all virtual. I want to bring them back into the office, because there's a lot of things that go on in a healthcare office that needs to be hands-on. So I'm the consultant. So I'm saying this is good for the company. The CEO is trusting my judgment. They called me on a Zoom and said, well, what would happen if we all quit? And I said, I'll do it myself. And they was looking at each other, and they all quit. They all got together and decided they was going to quit. But what they didn't realize is y'all need me for a reference. I will never need y'all. And so what I did, I hired other people that wanted to work. So it's a dual-edged sword. Yes, employees have options, but so do I. So I don't want you there if you don't want to be there. So I just hired people that was willing to do what somebody else wouldn't. So all of them quit at the same time. But guess what? Her company didn't close. She's still making money right now with a whole new staff that showed up every day. So yes, employees will punk you. They will quit. But we at will, most states. So you can fire them or they can quit. Be ready for that. I don't care if it's a pandemic or not. But just as many people are needing jobs as people thinking they've got more options than they do. So I don't never worry about folks quitting.
And if you have good systems in place, you can maintain that bridge area of getting rid of someone and hiring new people?
Well, and for me, I like to know what's happening. Like, I've never worked in this genre of medicine before. So it was exciting for me to be the front desk, to learn what the kind of questions, the type of client she had, the type of patient she had. So it was an easy transition for me. So I'm learning and training at the same time. I don't mind even being the consultant of doing the grunt work. See, sometimes we feel like we too good to do the grunt work. But I'm telling you, when people love you for it, they love you for it. Mr. Shannon will come answer the phone every time. Mr. Shannon will check somebody in, sure will. But that don't affect my check, though. See, what we think is that it's going to affect our check if we go down a couple of steps lower than we think we should be. But my check ain't changed. Whether I answered the phone, I didn't. But now what I have created is people that will do anything. They'll follow me because I'm worthy at this point, because I know what it's like to be them. I don't just tell them what to do. I show them what to do.
There it is. Leadership in action.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to follow me because you truly believe in me and you know that I believe in you. And so therefore, you're going to do what I ask you to do. Let's just circle back because you talked about your clock analogy from one way. When you talked about don't give some workers, and I had to come to that understanding. Let me just going back when I was running the law firm full time, and my partner and I would bring in these interns and different folks, and we were trying to make mini-me's. We're bringing them in, and we're trying to invest all of our knowledge, invest all of our hustle, invest all that stuff. And I had to come to understanding there are some people who are frontline that will always be frontline. Mm-hmm. They'll always be an hourly worker. Let them do what they're good in. Let them collect a paycheck and save that for someone else. So you're telling not to tell them, just tell them the time, not ask them to build a clock. But you also flip that. You also flip that in CEO mindset and CEO thinking. Just talk a little bit about how that works when you're the CEO.
Yeah, okay. So for one, I don't need the explanation. So you're wasting words. I only want to know the time. Because being in the position that I am, I can build the clock myself. So when you're trying to explain something to me, what is it? Just one sentence will do it. I don't need a paragraph. I definitely don't need a thesis. I just need to know the time. Do not build me a clock. I just want to know the time because I'm going to make the decision based on the time, not the inner workings of the clock, how we got there. See, I manage the outcome, not the process. I only get involved in the process if it's not going the way I need to do and make some shifts. But I don't care how you got there. I just need to know is the time right? And so what people feel like they got to do is explain. And no. You're wasting words. Save some of them for something else. I only want to know the time.
Do you think does that help you with decision fatigue?
Well, it helps me determine if a decision needs to be made. Because don't run to me. For one, the type of manager I am, I make managers. I make not only managers, I make leaders. So they're not running to me for everything. I let them make mistakes. Now let's figure out how we could have did this better. It ain't always got to be my way because I don't care how you get there as long as you arrive on time. Okay. So I let them manage their own process because I'm really only interested in the outcome. I'm only interested in the time. So a Timex and Rolex still tell the same time. I just need to know what time it is. I can let you build a Rolex as long as your time right. I can let you be a Timex as long as your time right. But we spend a lot of time managing the process, wanting people to think like us. You ain't got to think like me as long as the outcome is the same.
I manage the outcome, not the process. Come on, dig deep in that. Help the folks, as we say, help the people. Manage the outcome.
Well, that's what when you're goal setting and when you're trying to get a vision out, let them know what the end result looks like. Because I'm going to think about how to get there differently than you. I don't want many me's because I'm only limited to my own experiences. I want people to get to the same conclusion, but I don't really care how you get there. But if you need help, I can give you some ideas, but I still want it to come from you because if it comes from you, you'll have confidence enough to do it again. See, I don't have an open door policy because I'm busy. So if you come to my door and interrupt me, it better be for something good. Now, what I do is you can schedule an appointment with me so that you have my full attention. But don't come in here just asking me something that you because guess what I'm going to say? Well, what's the answer to that? What would you do? Okay, then do that. If that doesn't work, then come back. Because I don't have an open door policy. I'm busy. So when I say manage the outcome, give them the goal. Give them the end result. We need to save $10,000 this quarter, whatever it is. Let them find it. Because the goal is to save the money. I have a lot of things I am responsible for. So managing how people think is not something that I'm willing to invest my time in. But what I'm willing to invest my time in is helping them find creative ways to get to my end result.
This is wonderful. This is why I talk to you. This is why I invest in you. This is why I make sure that I have a check-in with you at least once a quarter, if not more, because it is always this kind of thinking that helps to expand. And I was going back again when you were talking about you manage the process. You are really helping to create good thinkers. Mm-hmm. You're really starting to. You're really helping to develop these people who can do the job and are proud of it.
Because we talk about critical thinking, but we're also developing analytical thinking. And that is making a person get to the end result a lot sooner. It's just like when they write an email to me. I said, if I got to come back and ask you a question, that is not a well-written email. You need to be able to think about every single thing that could be asked before you hit send and include it so that I don't have to come back and ask you a follow-up question. Because if I do, that means that wasn't a well thought out email. And now we're going back and forth. And now I got to see you in my face when you could include it, all the information. Now it's got to be information that's relevant. But if I got to come back and ask you a question, you did not say, well, what else could somebody possibly need to know?
Give me the information. Give me the information, not the explanation.
Whew.
That's what I say. Just give me the information, not the explanation.
This is what I just start saying. Don't build me a clock.
Yeah.
They know that now. You're building. And I just walk away. Because until you're ready to just give me the time, the luxury of time is so limited because you're doing so many things and they only have one thing. And so they feel like they can interrupt you with their one thing that they're responsible for. But you're responsible for so much more. So you don't even have the capacity to listen to it. So that's why when they in there talking, we still reading emails. We done picked up our phone because I'm only listening for the time. I'm not even listening to the clock building. I only look up for the time. Okay.
But I think DeShannon, that, and I don't want the listeners to miss out on this huge nugget that you have in the room that we gloss over. The mindset shift from being frontline to being CEO is really this never losing sight of what the end result is going to be. So when I listen to you talk, you're always all I want is this, because this is all I need for my piece. Everything else is great, but this piece, give me this piece. And I think as CEOs or owners and entrepreneurs, we get caught because we keep changing our mindset of what is the one piece that I need in order to make the decision that moves this company forward?
Well, like I was brought in to manage a very large pediatrician hospital, 200 pediatrician offices. Okay. They called it, can you move the herd? They needed all of them to move in a certain direction, not just some of them. Can you move the herd? And so a lot of times in the C-suite, we moving the top 10% because they're invested. So I had to quickly figure out who was highly engaged, moderately engaged, and low engaged. To move the herd, everybody's got to move up one. And so I looked at them collectively, not individually. And a lot of CEOs are looking at things individually. So some of them, certain things are doing extremely well, while other things are kind of faltering because they don't have the herd mentality. They'll do the things easily and actually grow things that could stand still a minute and deal with the difficult things last, because that's going to take work. But now you got a gap. You got things that's performing really, really well. And then you got things that's performing really, really bad because you didn't move the entire herd along.
I don't know if y'all caught that. She slipped that in real quick, that she was running 200 offices. I just want to stop. I just want you to pause and understand the caliber of how she thinks and who she is. She didn't say she was, that's 200 different offices. And if you know anything about your remote spots and your remote offices, and especially doctors' offices, those are 200 different miniature cultures. Because in many cases, they were independents that got bought out. And so they're still trying to do it like they did before they took the people's money. And they want to fight against that. She's running 200 offices. You know, because I just wanted to do a pushback, because I know people think that you're young and therefore you're just kind of, you just been a little bit of a CEO. But no, this is running 200 individual offices that have to, now meet standards of a corporate office, that have to bring certain things to the bottom line for the corporate office. And you also have to meet these people and keep them in their culture, keep them in the culture that made them successful in their community, but also make them look from a full branding and marketing perspective like the major. How do you prioritize the day when you're looking at 200 different, not 200 people. I guess I want people to get that. Not 200 people, 200 offices.
Yeah, I think it's 1,400 physicians in that 200 offices. So it's a network, and in order to join this network, you have to abide by the rules and to use the parent office logo, because it's well-known logo. When you see the logo, that's like, it's the stamp of approval kind of thing. But the first thing I did was I categorized them: highly engaged, moderately engaged, low engaged. But then once I wrap my mind around that, I really only think of them as one office, because I'm constantly, like, I'm doing onboarding and things like that, because it started out with 146, I think, when I first got here. But how to onboard, how to do all of that, because you're steadily wanting to grow so that they'll all feed into the parent hospital. And so when I determine who fits these categories, well, you're highly engaged, they're easy. They're already invested. Moderately is kind of on the fence. They don't see the value. Now, that's something we can talk about. They don't see the value of doing any more. They're just right there. But the low engaged don't see value in it at all. Because if they saw value in it, they'd at least be moderately engaged. So how do you create value to people that don't think it's valuable enough other than to have the logo? So when I'm talking about moving the herd, I'm really thinking about one thing in three parts. It's no different if you're a singer. I've been singing all of my life. The blend is not individual. It's when we can do it together and it sounds like one voice, but you can hear the parts in it. But when it's split up, you can clearly define them. So I think about 200 offices as one because I'm moving the herd. And in order to move the herd moves in a group. So I need to move everybody at the same time. So I have to create value that's valuable to the low, moderate, and high so everybody gets on board. So I really only run one office that has 200 people, parts in it, but it's 200 individual in Metro Atlanta and outskirts. I'm in places of Atlanta I ain't never heard of before. But that office might have one doctor. That office might have 5. The office might have 25. But they're all part of this network that feeds into the large hospital system. So it's really one office.
And so as CEO,
yeah,
how close do you get to the customer experience?
Very. I always put myself on the other side of that desk. This is what I do. I answer the phone sometimes. So maybe I'm in Tucker, Georgia. It's like, Tucker, well, okay. So I'm in Tucker. Folks don't even look like me. Well, they kind of look like me because I'm a little bit lighter than a lot of folks. But I tell people quickly, don't get the Southern accent because, see, there's a difference between being Southern and country. But that's for another day. Okay, so what I tell them is I'm answering the phone. I'm saying, I need you to partner with me. I can't make this office great if you don't help me. So I partner with patients. Tell me what's going on. I don't see it as a complaint. I see it as a concern. You want this office to be better. But if you don't partner with me and help me to run it better, you're going to just be complaining about something I can fix. I partner with clients. I partner with patients. I let them know that I'm available.
And so that helps to move the herd.
It helps to move the herd. And believe it or not, people don't use me the way they should because they know that they can. See, the only time people are complaining is if they don't know who to complain to. But now that they know, hey, they got somebody that they can call, they don't even call me. Because I've made myself available. And then they're like, well, oh no. So then when I do get called, it's really for a problem. It's not for just petty stuff. Mm-hmm.
And so, okay, go to the bottom line of your company, or should I say that front desk, find out what your customers are experiencing and partner with them to fix things and to make things great. Talk about, because I don't want to lose this before we have about 12 minutes. I don't want to lose this. Talk about how you're showing the low level what did you call them? The least engaged.
Yes.
How are you showing them value, or how are you creating value so they can jump up or at least move up in the list?
Well, a lot of times people think, I don't have time to do these metrics that y'all have put into place. I don't have time to submit these documents. I'm doing the best I can. I realize right there that there's some processes that's messed up. They're doing the best that they can with what they have, but let me show you an easier way. This is where working the front desk comes in handy. So I go in there. I take an afternoon. This ain't a red bottom day. This is a sneaker day. They might be, this is a regular day. Because I don't need to look any different than anybody else that day. I'm looking to see what they doing. Oh, gosh, they doing this the hard way. Oh, my goodness, if they knew that they could do this, that, and the other. Then I don't just tell them. I said, let me do it. So then I'm chatting them up. I'm talking to people. I'm doing everything that they're doing because each of those 200 offices really run the same. Everybody got to make an appointment. Everybody got to check in. Everybody got to get insurance. Everybody got to get a code. Oh, that's exactly the same. So I'm just know how to better put a process in place. If you do this, hey, how about we do this? If it don't work, we can change it back. Let's just do this for the afternoon. Oh my God, this works. Absolutely it does. Now I've created value. I just didn't ask them to submit documents and data to support what I'm trying to do so that they can get a better contract with the payer, the United Healthcare, the Blue Cross, whatever, which are benefits to being in the network. But that's not tangible. That's not helping my office run day to day. See, that's the key to this thing. Nobody cares about the bottom line if they feel like they don't work like a Hebrew slave. So if I can create value in day to day, that right there is selling buy-in, informed consent. Can we just agree to do this for 30 days and see what happens? Yeah, we can, but I know it ain't gonna work, but can we agree to it? Because if you agree to it, you're less likely to stop doing it.
And then you have the short time frame, which allows it to feel like it's not going to be forever.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I just say, let's do it for the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah. This is phenomenal. So as we start to wind up, because we definitely have to get you back on. Definitely, and all the rest of the definitely we can put together. We have to have you back on. What would you like to leave our listeners that you think is the most important about being the CEO/entrepreneur? We didn't really jump into how you are a business of your own in the consulting. What is the take home that you really want people to know, or the big mindset shift that you think they need?
That people are willing to pay you for what you already do for free.
Okay, hold on. Let us all pause for a moment and drink that moment in. This is the part where I go back and I pull the video from our very first photo shoot, our very first consulting, because that video and your, you got to let me pull that out the archives for some people because they really need to hear that because it makes so much sense. Say it again. Just say it one more time. People will pay you.
So
people will pay you. I was
trying to explain to Richard something, and he recorded me against my will, without my consent. So I was explaining to him that I used to manage a public health department. Okay, I've done a lot of things for a long time, guys. I'm talking about this is the third largest health department in North Carolina, in Fayetteville, North Carolina. If you know anything about Fayetteville, a lot of military. It's a huge little place that is packed. We'd see, almost 800 people per day. Well, so we would have like different clinics. There's like an STD clinic, a women's health, or children's, or dental, or whatever. So we would get prostitutes coming in for STD screening. Well, I just happened to ask them a question. I wanted to know how much they got paid. So for oral things, and this is back in 2004 or 5, so let's just put it in perspective. This is about way back. So I know inflation, they don't went up by now. But for oral activities, they got $20. For any other activities, they got $40. Okay? So I was thinking about that. So I kept that in my mind because my daughter, as she got older, her college friends would come around and I'd always be talking to them. I said, now, if you done went to Applebee's and they done ordered a 2 for $20 and you done laid up under somebody, you $40 short. Because if we always want to look down on prostitution, and I'm not condoning, I'm just telling you the story, okay? I'm not saying this good or bad. I'm just telling you that if you value yourself, why would you give yourself away for free? These people getting $60 up front. So when I let women know that right there, now I'm not saying I'm approving or disapproving, but why in the world would you lay up under somebody for free when they willing to pay somebody else $60? Ain't you worth something more? You should get paid for what you're doing for free. Now, if you giving advice for free, then how about you being a coach? Not just a bootleg coach, but actually go to school and like be a coach. Okay? Or if you like to talk for a living, whatever it is that you're doing for free, somebody is willing to pay you for that. So that's why I said, don't do nothing for free.
Yeah, and that is the business principle. That's the business principle. The story is great because I love it because it puts it in perspective for a lot of people. But the business perspective of that is you should be charging and charging appropriately because there are people who are willing to pay for your knowledge and for your methods. And then they'll pay premium for your services. And I think we often undercharge on our services, and some people overcharge on their methods when it should be the other way around. But that's a whole nother story. What else? DeShannon, please tell the people where they can find you, how they can hire you, how they can just, follow you and support the things that you're doing.
Okay, so I am DeShannon Speaks on most social platforms. I'm also DeShannonSpeaks.org is my website. My testimonials are true. I did not fake any of them. But I will let you know, don't contact me if you're not serious, because why waste everybody's time? So I understand that everybody's not my client. Everybody can't get with me. Some people are not even going to like what I'm saying today. Well, okay, great. If you're looking for like a leadership success coach or a career coach, anything like that, please understand that my methods work, but you've got to be serious about being great. You've got to be able for somebody to tell you the truth. And if you don't want truth, then I'm not your coach, and that's okay. If you don't want to pay me, I'm not your coach either. So I get results. I push people beyond what they think their limit is, and I'm okay doing that. But I'm okay if I'm not for you. That's great too. But if you want me to help you, then you can't be sensitive because I don't do tears. You got to understand I'm there to help you be better. I'm not there to hurt you. I'm there to push you into greatness.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. The lady herself, DeShannon Dixon. I am so... These are always the best. So join us next time, Black Hustle. The Black Hustle Podcast, and join us over on the website, blackhustle.com, BLKHustle.com. All right. God bless and peace.